Hi there, I'm Emma Lurie, a third-year PhD student at the UC Berkeley School of Information. Today I'm going to be sharing some of the high-level takeaways from my CLTC-funded research assessing and developing the online election information infrastructure. From directions to polling places to information about candidates' positions, the public relies on technology platforms like Google and Facebook to help navigate political participation. As a result, technology platforms are increasingly entangling themselves with the existing online election information infrastructure like Ballotpedia, a Secretary of State's website, news outlets, and local endorsements. Platforms are not only entangled with the online election information infrastructure, but they're also actively reshaping it, altering how voters access and retrieve information, and potentially affecting voters' trust in democratic institutions and processes. As technology platforms alter our online election information infrastructure, existing vulnerabilities are exacerbated and new vulnerabilities emerge. Today, I'll be sharing two case studies I've developed in the past year that speak to these challenges. The first centers on the idea that there are many legitimate reasons that constituents might need to contact their member of Congress, and that Google is an important way that people identify who their member of Congress is and helps mediate that communication. Yet Google search struggles to accurately resolve queries that seek to identify an individual's member of Congress. For example, the search query 94704 Congressperson, as you can see in this slide, turns up that the Congressperson for 94704 is Jerry McNerney. In fact, it's Barbara Lee. In this study, I find that 10% of searches that seek to identify a California local representative are likely to mislead information seekers about who their representative is. Beyond looking at how often this happens, I'm also interested in why this happens. And factors identified in this breakdown include Google's heavy reliance on Wikipedia, the lack of authoritative machine parsable data about the identity of elected officials, and the search engine's relatively weak treatment of underspecified queries. We recommend steps in this paper and case study that Google can take to meet its stated commitment to providing high-quality civic information, and steps that information providers can take to improve the legibility and quality of information about congressional representatives available to search algorithms. Concretely, these suggestions include improving structured data on members of Congress's websites and Google leveraging the Google Civic Information API in these search results. The second case study focuses on a different election. This is about the 2020 election and the California ballot propositions. In the days leading up to that election, cybersecurity experts raised concerns that people who sought information about the ballot propositions were being displayed biased information that misrepresented the underlying sources' positions on Google search engine result pages. In this case study, I conducted an algorithmic audit to investigate claims of search engine bias in the search results. I found that while the majority of search snippets do not take a clear stance towards or against the proposition, some official government sources, which should of course be neutral, appeared to take a stance on ballot propositions, not because of the underlying content on their pages, but because of the way the Google search text summarization algorithms were operating. What both of these examples illustrate are the ways that technology platforms, particularly Google Search, are changing the election information voters are shown, and how these changes could potentially increase distrust in democratic institutions. This work highlights the vulnerabilities in our online election information. Previously, the research community has been primarily in a reactive position of finding and fixing data voids or correcting individual pieces of misinformation. My work helps shift our thinking to consider the interaction effects of technology platforms and existing online election information. This shift helps us better understand the online election information ecosystem, develop voter-centered measurement techniques, and considers the ways that we can be proactive about developing a robust online information infrastructure. Thank you so much.